Hi everybody, this is Lukas, Health Supercharger, reporting from Yuma, Arizona. Sunny, warm climates and wonderful fruits and veggies and nuts and seeds. I don't know why people would have to cook. If they only ate their biological foods, they wouldn't have to cook. Like this papaya. It's basically a pinnacle food. Human, absolute pinnacle food. When I eat papayas, I don't even need to drink water. I could go all day with just a few papayas like this. And you get all your nutrients, including water. Even if I'm in tropics or desert or hiking or whatever, keeping active. You tell me what other food in your South American or macrobiotic or paleo diet or Atkins diet, you can do that happily. That nourishes you to such a degree that you're even hydrated. And you don't need to eat other things. This is so delicious. You don't need to eat anything else. Important to chew and to mix your food with your saliva, with your digestive fluids in your mouth, and to break down the solids into a nice paste. Even papayas, bananas, fruits, you need to break them down, right? So that there's a lot of surface area for your stomach acids to digest the nutrients, and then you can get good absorption in your small intestine. So especially when you're eating lettuce and stuff that's a little bit more crunchy or more chewy, requires a little bit more biting. That's very important to break it down more, because the chunks of lettuce that you swallow is actually the chunks of lettuce that you're gonna pass through your system. So if you can break it down more, you get more nutrients out of that. Look at the color. This one is so sweet that it's like a mix between a strawberry and almost as sweet as a good honeydew melon. A little bit less than a honeydew melon, and so juicy. Like it's so juicy, it's almost like a watermelon. Not quite. You can taste the more solidness, right? I do believe papayas are around 91% water, and then approximately 9 or 10% solid. Now then you have fruits that are like the steak of the raw vegan diet, which have almost three times the solidness, the carbs, the nutrients, the fiber, everything, which are like bananas, right? Which have almost 30%, 25 to 30%, like bananas and plantains. They have 3 times the density, and they're a little bit less on the hydrating side of things, yeah. But when you're hungry or when you're going for a hike, they're wonderful food. When you're eating juicy stuff like this, you might have to eat, instead of 3 pounds, you might have to eat 4 pounds. Somebody of my size, somebody around 150, 160, 170 pounds. If you're smaller, maybe a little less. If you're more larger, then maybe a little bit more. If you're eating the right foods, you don't have to cook at all. If you have to cook, you're eating the wrong foods. And all you raw vegans as well, if you're eating lettuces and greens and stuff that is so unappealing that you can only eat 2 leaves of kale or 2 leaves of whatever junk because it's so not tasty, or it's so like indigestible. I'd recommend going to iceberg lettuce, romaine lettuce, celery, spinach, green leaf lettuce. Tender, juicy, but most importantly, tender, easily digestible, and easily assimilable foods. You want to be able to assimilate your nutrition, not be able to. And plus, all those kale and all those things, collards, they are not appealing because they have chemicals inside them. They have something inside them. They have certain, you call it nutrients, but there's a reason why they're bitter, why they're spicy, why they're hot, why they're, like just not good. Your body's telling you this is just no good. It's bitter. Arugula. Why would you ever eat arugula? There's no nutrient in arugula that there isn't in a papaya. Every fruit has all the nutrients, like Dr. Douglas Graham says, just in different proportions, right? That's why we eat 100 different kinds of fruits over the course of a year or two. 100, 150, even 200. I don't track it, but it's definitely well over 100. Just in bananas and tomatoes, I've eaten over 20 different types of bananas and tomatoes. Just those 2 fruits. 1, 2. And I've eaten at least 75 to 85 different types of fruits, like completely different other fruits. And each one has at least a few varieties. That's assuming that you actually have a car and you actually take it down to the tropics and you actually cover some ground and you actually find some farmers and you actually talk to some farmers and you actually make friends with the farmers and you collect foods that they have, or you buy foods that they have. If you fly into a resort or any one town, you're going to be stuck with maybe a dozen or 2 dozen kind of things, because in Central America and most tropics, they don't have the distribution that we have in North America. They don't get everything from the planet in one store. Just with the papayas and different kind of good quality fruits, more sleeping, sleeping nice 10 hours a day at least, and the sunshine in Arizona and Southern California, my vitality has gone up 15% easily. Or would you rather be eating the other foods, all that meat, dairy, grains, eggs, you name it, most of that stuff, processed stuff in the boxes and stuff in the bags and stuff in the cans? Would you rather be eating those things and dissolving your bones because of the acidity, forcing your body to neutralize all that acidity every meal you eat? You can actually measure. They have instruments currently that you can measure every meal you take, how much calcium and other alkaline minerals, because it's not just calcium, but it's alkaline minerals. How much are you leaching? Now, I don't care how much calcium there is in milk, because milk is actually a negative net calcium provider. In other words, it actually leaches calcium from your body, forces your body to give up due to the enormous amount of protein in the milk. There's a lot of fat in the milk. Your 2% milk is actually 40% fat. Whew. Not good for diabetes, man. Putting that much fat into your bloodstream, you're just gonna clog those sugars, any kind of carbohydrates that you have in your arteries, in your blood. you're just gonna like not be able to get it into your cells, and you're just gonna pile it up until diabetes happens. And same thing if you eat all those rice and bread and pastas, refined junk, has no fiber. It's just boom, like a tsunami wave of carbohydrates. Once it gets digested after a little while, after an hour or two, uncontrollable sugar. You should get some food that has some control. Whole foods have control. Cooked foods don't. The water and the fiber in the papayas slow things down. No diabetes. I've eaten 4-pound meals, thousands of them, 10,000 meals of at least 2.5 pounds, at least. Edible portion, no skin, no seeds included, just papaya or banana or fruits. Never had any issues. Never. Why? The water, the fiber, the whole food, all those thousands and thousands of nutrients. Actually, modern science can now look at our whole foods and find over 1 million different types of micronutrients. So many micronutrients, not just vitamins and minerals. Every species on this planet, every single goddamn species on this planet, every single one of them, over 25 million species, has their diet that they can eat raw as is. And most of them are vegan. Why don't you go tell a hummingbird or a zebra they can't get their food, their raw vegan food? Not enough calories. Not enough B12. Oh my gosh. B12 for humans is not a nutrient that comes from food. B12. My gosh. If you're getting, I don't care about the little traces of B12 that you get when you don't wash your blackberries or lettuce or whatever, papaya or whatever, or if you get some dirt or whatever. That's insignificant. We've got like at least few pounds, we should have at least a few pounds of microorganisms in our digestive system. Few pounds. And they actually create B12. If you don't fuck them up with alcohol, coffee, cooked junk, all this processed soda cans and all this junk you guys eat, you're gonna fuck that whole digestive system. You're gonna get like colon cancer or all kinds of digestive disorders, bleedy colon, that or digestive system there, it's completely eroded. Can't absorb anything. And I know it took me 2 years and a 40-day water fast. I couldn't believe how much repair and elimination. I had black stuff come out of my digestive system after 2 years on the raw vegan diet when I did a 40-day water fast. Couldn't believe it. Like it was like around day 21, and then about day 25. Just after weeks and weeks of growling and working away, all of a sudden I eliminated unbelievably disgusting, foul-smelling, charcoal black junk. About the half, like maybe around 200 milliliters. Not much, but you don't sleep enough. Don't give your body enough rest to build up. You want to be healthy and strong, right? You don't eat the food that most efficiently nourishes the body. You don't want to have More is not better. You want to have nutrition like a glove fitting a hand. Just enough. Just enough water, just enough minerals, just enough vitamins, just enough everything. Consuming 40% or 50% of your calories from fat. Your protein that you consider, you're getting your protein. I have some questions for you. If you ask me where I'm getting my protein, I can ask you a few questions too. How much cholesterol are you getting with your protein? You know, your eggs, your meat, your fish, your bacon and all this stuff. How much cholesterol are you getting? How about this? How much fiber are you getting with that? How much biological concentration of toxemia from other animals are you actually consuming? Because these things are loaded. How much growth hormones and drugs are you consuming? When they grow these things in factories, there they put like 6 chickens into one cage, and they grow like 200,000 chickens in one warehouse. It smells so bad that you're not even going to be there for an hour without getting sick, unless you're used to it. Lots of junk in that meat, and plus it spoils inside the high heat of your body. It spoils.
Most people on this planet have to isolate their animals and only consume the muscles mostly for of the animals, and even then, once they get the muscle isolated from the rest of the corpse, then they have to chop away all of that excess fat. Nobody likes those white strips of fat in their beef, in their pork, in their whatever. And then, once you do that, then you tenderize it usually. You beat it to death to make it more tender, more whatever, appealing, edible, attractive to eat. And then, after you've tenderized it, you marinate it for a few hours or a day in whatever solution of your spices, your beer, your whatever. And then, once you have that marinated and tenderized and all the fat removed, or well, at least all the fat that you think is in the meat, all that marbled fat in the flesh, in the meat itself is not removed. But anyways, then you've got to do something more in order to eat this and make it more attractive. You gotta bake it, steam it, fry it, or cook it in some way for a long time usually, you know? And after that is done, you still have to put spices and you have to put herbs so that it's appealing and attractive, because even after it's been cooked and broken down and made more tender, but even that's not enough. You gotta put your steak sauce on this stuff. You know, your nice steak or your gravy or whatever. Once you have your steak sauce and your herbs and your tenderizing and your cooking and your removing of the fat and your isolating of the whole corpse, mostly eating just the muscles, even then you cannot even eat the meat by itself. You gotta have all kinds of condiments, all kinds of potatoes and rice and veggies and more steak sauce and butter or whatever else. Because a chunk of meat would not satiate you. You'd not be able to work for any amount of period of time. You would not be happy, right? Wow. Hmm. Maybe Meat is not an ideal food. And then it robs you of your energy as well. Takes hours and hours to digest. Takes many, 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 many micrograms of calcium and alkaline minerals out of your body because of the acidity. Maybe meat is not ideal after all. We gotta do so much to it. Let's think about that. You know, whole as is fruits and vegetables that are appealing. They're tender, sweet, juicy, sometimes salty, sometimes fatty too. They're not good enough because they're in this as is condition. We gotta go eat those corpses. That is food, right? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe there is some logic left in this world. We will see.